Hip-hop and rap genre of the music was formed in the 1980s and 1990s by many artists that saw untimely deaths and are now incarcerated. One of the powerhouse labels, Death Row Records, was allowed to release and do what they wanted because of their success and importance to Interscope Records. They created monetary value for controversy of the owned artists that owned Fuel the Fire on a regular basis and was demonstrated in the record sales. Some may question how can that be, because no matter how bad of conduct that happened, the press always outshined their troubles. In the 1990s, violence and legal issues went hand in hand with Tupac Shakur. However, mainstreamed audiences flocked to the artist and labeled Death Row Records, which created a mechanism for controversy to make money. Looking at Tupac's early life helps to understand the controversies and how his mindset played into his success and ultimately demise. Tupac was born in June of 1970 in Harlem, New York. His mother, father, and stepfather all participated in the Black Panther movement and spent time incarcerated due to activities with the movement. In the 1980s, his family moved to a very tough area in Baltimore, where he attended the Baltimore School for the Arts. Tupac, his mother, and sister later moved to Marine City, California, which is near San Francisco. During this time, Tupac's mother became addicted to drugs, the same drugs that Tupac was selling on the street. He was incarcerated several times in the 1990s. However, the legal trouble began after moving to Los Angeles. Tupac was introduced to several record labels and eventually landed a contract with Interscope Records during this time. He was embracing a gangster lifestyle while not actually being part of a gang. Tupac accidentally shot a young child early in his career and was not charged for this crime. The more trouble he got into, the more credibility he would gain on the street, which led him to becoming a viable rap star. Several controversial experiences in Tupac's life led to greater notoriety as well as financial success. Tupac was involved in shooting with 2 Atlanta police officers and was not officially charged because the police officers had been drinking. Tupac's stepfather was quoted saying he was convinced that Tupac became a lightning rod after he shot the police officer in Atlanta. Young blacks who are poor and hopeless have no leader. So when Tupac stands up to the white cop, shoots it out, wins the battle, gets cut free, and continue to say the things he is saying, the decision to destroy his credibility is clear. The next incident was a rape and weapons charge relating from Ayanna Jackson. Tupac and Ayanna spent a night together where they both enjoyed each other's company. On a different night, Anaya made charges against Tupac, which caused his room to be searched and weapons charges to be filed. Some believe the friend of Tupac, Jaquez Agnet, was a snitch to the police and to the weapons were planted bringing Tupac down and silence the influence he had a young black man. While awaiting trial, Tupac went to his record studio in New York and was shot 5 times in the lobby at the recording studio. Tupac believed that it was his rival rapper Biggie he ordered the hit and solidified a West Coast versus East Coast war among rappers that fueled controversy to the untimely death of both rappers. Tupac attended the trial in a wheelchair due to the shooting wounds, which further added to the flair that he brought to the public view of a rapper on trial. Tupac was convicted of charges. While awaiting his appeal, his bail was set by Death Row Records owner Suge Knight. Suge had made a deal with Tupac's record label as well as legal team for not only Tupac to work with Death Row Records, but for Suge to become Tupac's manager in exchange for Suge paying Tupac's $3 million bail. The thug notoriety, rape charges, brawls that Tupac had been more attracted to Suge. Feeling in debt to Suge, Tupac was a public advocate for him. However, Knight as Tupac's downfall. One friend even says that Suge knew how to manipulate Tupac. In February of 1996, Death Row Records released All Eyes on Me, which topped the charts as #1 in the US and sold more than 5 million copies. Much of the proceeds from the album were profited by Death Row Records based on the contract that Tupac signed when he was still in jail. Suge used tactics with his artist Similar to what is seen in the recreated video on All Eyes on Me, which now I'll be showing y'all a video.
About being a family. About being loyal. Like my man here. Ronnie, you hungry?
I'm good, sir.
No, have some more.
Good, I'm full.
How about a steak?
I'm full.
Good. Now you full. I guess you're done taking from my plate, huh? You've been stealing from me for months. Why stop now? Tape costs, studio time, musicians. This motherfucker spent 250 grand on an artist that ain't even mine. You think I wouldn't find out? You think I'm a bitch? That I was just gonna let that slide? Answer man when he's talking to you.
It's not me.
You must have a problem with mathematics, Ronnie. Cause this shit don't add up. Hey, you like to eat good, right? Eat good shit, motherfucker, there you go. Eat good, eat that shit, huh? How's it taste? Huh? You like that shit? You like that shit? Shit. I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry.
You say you thirsty?
I'm sorry.
Don't he look thirsty? I think this nigga's thirsty.
Sure.
Huh? Get this motherfucker some champagne. Sure. You like that champagne, that good night shit, right? Huh? Spit the tape down. This nigga some shrimp. Greedy motherfucker. Eat that shit. Not a good
And that's
night
the
shit
video.
down, nigga.
That's the video showing the All Eyes on Me. Just 7 months after the release of his album, Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas. He attended a Mike Tyson fight at the MGM, and then he and Suge got into a fight in the lobby with rivals from the East Coast. Later that night, when the group of men were going to Suge's club, Tupac rode in Suge's BMW and was shot by an unidentified individual in a white Cadillac. Some have criticized and created conspiracy theories that Suge was responsible for the death of Tupac, as typically Tupac would have been accompanied by security in a Hummer. Tupac sold more albums after his death than before his death, which is a testament to how the controversy surrounded him having led to monetary gain. The gain was not always in Tupac's or Suge's favor, but the intrigue and draw from Tupac's messages has held the audience's attention for years, which has led to more than 75 million in sales. The genre of hip-hop and rap was changed by Tupac in many ways. However, the notoriety and controversies that surrounded him as an artist and human created a lasting influence on the genre.